Many people experiment with time management techniques in order to become more productive. Although they are intertwined, productivity and time management are distinct concepts, and not everyone who is productive is also skilled at time management. One of the reasons I can say a lot of people lack the ability to be productive is that they aren't able to plan accordingly. Oftentimes, we don't plan when we're going to do our work unless we have a strict schedule to follow, such as in a job, but college students like me often are given deadlines, but we never plan for when we will do the work. Does this sound familiar? You get your syllabus and you look through it for the important things that are due that semester. Or you just wait until your professor tells you insert assignment is coming up in however long. We're often told, and even though many people know this, to inch away at assignments so they don't creep up on us. But many of us don't do this. Then we're stressed having to finish the assignment last minute. This is what we do in a perfect world. But there is a problem with this, and is that we are told exactly what we should do, but we never think about when we're going to do it. There's a quote that I heard growing up, and it goes like this: failing to plan is planning to fail. Now, this introduces us to our first tip for productivity, and it's creating a plan/planning. You want to write down things you need to do. Then you want to plan for when you will do them. A specific block in time that you will dedicate to this assignment. Something that helps is having reminders on your phone, especially on your to-do list. What you could do is also buy an erasable schedule board. I personally have one, and it helped me keep up with knowing the due dates for assignments for a specific week. With this tip, you also want to be flexible. Life doesn't always move how we want it to. Sometimes things will pop up and we won't be able to get something done. Don't be rigid. Reschedule, but keep this in mind. If you reschedule, try to do it as soon as possible, or procrastination will kick in. Creating a plan is nice, but it doesn't matter if it's never put into action. The second tip is essentialism. Essentialism is the approach to work. It has to do with figuring out the priority. We often have a huge list of things we say we're going to do, but in reality, we don't always get around to doing them all on the same day. Then the day ends, and you might feel bad about the fact you didn't do everything you said you wanted to. This isn't a good mindset. Very regularly, we overcommit or overbook ourselves to things that don't matter. If there's anything you take away from this video, it's this: focus on the priority. Cut that list of 10 you have in half and focus on the most important tasks and that task that requires the most energy. You can implement this very easily by asking yourself this question: if I do this task now, will I be in a better position than I was in before? And what this question means is, the task you decide to do, is it going to help your future self, or is your future self going to be in the same position? At the end of the day, you want to know what you did is something meaningful that's going to put yourself closer to your goals. Tip number 3 is deep work. Deep work is a state of intense concentration that enables you to learn difficult things quickly and produce high quality work. Cal Newport, a Georgetown University computer science professor and the author of Deep Work: Rules for Focused Success in a Distracted World, coined the term. In his book, Newport defines deep work as a state of distraction-free concentration during which your brain works to its full potential. Newport's deep work theory proposes that in order to be truly productive, we should log out of all communication tools and work for long periods of uninterrupted time every day. He says at minimum, we should be able to put aside 60 to 90 minutes of time to focus on work. Over this last college semester, the strategy has been a game changer for me. Having 5 classes, all of them being a part of my major, I knew it was going to be tough managing all of it along with studying for each class. But after implementing the previous tip of essentialism, knowing what was the priority, this is how I was able to effectively use deep work. I would set aside 2 to 4 hours a day to purely focus on schoolwork, whether this be studying or getting actual work done. But after using this strategy, I was able to study the least I ever have on average, about less than 5 hours a week, and I accomplished straight A's for the first time in my life. The reason this strategy worked so well for me was because, like many people, I procrastinate. But when I combine these tips together, planning a time, knowing my priority, and then deciding to immerse myself in one thing at a time, I was able to maximize efficiency. Then, all that was left was shallow tasks. This term, Cal Newport defines as tasks we're able to do while distracted, or as I like to call it, brain dead or autopilot, because the task requires such a small amount of mental energy, if any. So the things you want to take into account when implementing this strategy is: 1. Find a place where you know you'll be able to concentrate with minimal noise. 2. Know your priority for the session. 3. Figure out the duration. I suggest 90 minutes minimum and 4 hours maximum, but this is something you can be flexible with. If you know you want to work for 4 hours but say you have to do something halfway, then it's fine to split the session into 2. I like to split the sessions into 2, especially because I know I can't sit down for 2 long periods of time. This also allows you to have a break in between sessions before putting your mind to a new task. Lastly, number 4. Turn off your phone and close any social media. You don't want to get distracted. Many people may think looking at your phone for 1 second isn't a big deal, but they don't understand the processing our brain goes through when it switches tasks. This can be detrimental in ruining focus, so don't do it. Purely focus on the task at hand. Tip 4 is a pretty easy tip, and it's learning to optimize with technology. This means using extensions like Grammarly and Quillbot. Grammarly, of course, helps with grammar issues, and Quillbot is useful for writing papers. Sometimes it's hard putting things into words, and I recently learned about Quillbot, which helps with paraphrasing. So you could copy and paste into Quillbot and paraphrase, then from there add your own twist to make the words reflect you a bit more so you aren't accused of plagiarism. This tip refers more to using technology. Being in 2023, we have access to so many tools and extensions and programs that can help us do tasks faster, so take advantage of these. Okay, so tip number 5 is setting a goal for the day. Something overlooked because of all the to-do lists we usually create is setting a goal for the day. I've been implementing this a bit more recently, and it has to do with having something you want to get done no matter what. And regardless of the to-do list, as long as you get this one thing done, it was a productive day. Personally, I recognize that we have lives outside of school that also require development, so I put this tip more towards self-development than school productivity. So for me, an example of a goal for the day would be writing a video script or reading for an hour, because these are things outside of school that will enhance my life. I personally like to set it up this way. I have one thing that I need to get done for school, but the other thing I need to get done for myself. You might look at this as contradictory to tip 2, but the difference is, in this scenario, is you have something you need to get done, aka schoolwork, then you have something you want to get done, as in relating more to your personal. Now, tip number 6 is using the morning for yourself. For me, I look at my mornings every day as a time to get things done. I would say my mornings are very productive. I wake up at 6 a.m. and right away I meditate, then I journal, and following this I listen to an audiobook. Then, following this, I go to the gym. The first 3 things are done within the first hour of waking up. Then the gym takes about 2-ish hours. After getting home, I like to follow up with a break, since I'll be eating after. But then I hop into another activity, whether it be studying, schoolwork, writing a script, or reading. I recognize that during the day there are things you can't control, so I like to use the morning as a jump starter to do the things I know I want to or need to do. This way it almost gets rid of that variability. Another reason is, in the morning, your willpower is at its highest, so it's easier to make the decision to get things done. Now, the last tip that I'm going to give you is schedule the end of your day. This is tip number 7. The name of this tip doesn't mean what you might think it does, and it doesn't mean just schedule until you're going to fall asleep. Instead, it means to know when you are done working so you have time to yourself. It's more of knowing when you're going to start winding down. Personally, I try not to do work past the time of 7:30 or 8 p.m. This semester I did have 2 days when I had classes that finished at 9 p.m, so those were the exceptions. But any other day, I wasn't going to go out of my way to work past that time, especially if I did the work I needed to during the day. This honestly helps with procrastination because you know in the back of your head, well, I can do whatever I want after insert time, so I'll get whatever I can out of the way now. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you like the background music, credit goes to Lukrembo. Apologies if I butchered this name. The details for the music will be in the description, which link to the song I used. If you like the content, comment down below your favorite tip and other content in the space of creativity, productivity, and self-improvement that you would like to see, and I'll try to work on a script addressing it. Like, comment, and subscribe, and also join the new Discord in the description. Have a good one.